What's on, ladies and gentlemen? My name's Ross, I like games, and today we are 1 week away from the release of OP-08. We are currently in pre-release season for OP-08, and that means we've got an FAQ and a bunch of rules, and yes, I know we do the FAQs when they come out in Japanese, but it's been months. That's a translated version of the Japanese FAQ. Now we got the official English FAQ, and like I tell you guys every time, if you're gonna play the game, you need to know the rules. So let's have a look at some rules, starting off with the red cards, because, you know, going in order, that makes the most sense. We've got ourselves the leader, Tony Chopper. Activate main once per turn. Give up to 3 of your animal or drum kingdom characters 1 rested Don each. Can I give a character more than 2 Don cards? No! It says 1 Don card each. Next question. Chess Marimo on your turn. If you've got Kura Marimo and Chess in your trash, this character gains 2,000 power. If I have another Chess Marimo in my trash, do I gain 2,000 power? No. You have to have a Kura Marimo and you have to have a Chess. If you don't have both of them in your trash, gutted, you don't get the bump. Wapol, Don X1, when attacking, give one of your opponent's characters minus 2,000 power this turn, and then this character gains 2,000 power until the end of your opponent's next turn. If my opponent has no characters on their field, so I can't put their power down, do I still get the power boost? Yes, you absolutely do. Remember, if it's in bold in front of a colon, you have to do that to do the next bit. Here, it's all the same skill. You try doing the first, you fail, you do the second, job's a good un, enjoy your power bump. Now, Munch-Munch mutation. Oh, it's so nice to have the English scans and names. As a main or a counter, give up to one of your opponent's characters minus 3k this turn, and then give one of your characters plus 3k. You can guess where this is going, can't you? If I cannot minus my opponent's characters, can I still get the plus 3k? Yes, you can, because this is all one skill, you do as much as you can. It's not like where you've got bold text that has to be done in order to activate the second part of the skill. That is not what we've got here. Now, Electrical Luna. For some reason, all the green rulings are events and stages, they are not character cards. As a main, all of your opponent's rested characters with a cost of 7 or less will not become active in your opponent's next refresh phase. Okay. Well, if one of my opponent's rested characters with a cost of 7 or less becomes rested due to another effect afterwards, does it then not become active? No, it does become active. Essentially, all the characters that are rested when you play Electrical Luna don't become active at the next refresh phase, but any characters that are active and are later rested are not affected by Electrical Luna because they were not rested at the time the card was played. We would never sell a comrade to the enemy. As a main, rest 2 of your characters. This, by the way, is what I mean. This is in bold before a colon. This has to be done to activate the rest of the card. And if you do rest 2 of your characters, none of your characters can be KO'd by your opponent's effects until the end of your opponent's next turn. Well, if I play a character after I play this card, is it unable to be KO'd? No. It can totally be KO'd by effects. Same ruling as we just saw with Electrical Luna. This gives protection to the characters that are in play when you play this card. Characters played later do not get the protection. Sorry about that. Zou, which if anyone's wondering is literally just the Japanese word for elephant, has a skill whereby at the end of your turn, set up to one of your Minx type characters as active. But it also has another skill, a first skill, that lets you rest this stage, and if your leader is the Minx type, set one of your Don cards active. Well, can I still use the second skill, the end of your turn skill, if my leader is not a Minx type? Yes, you can. Because the must be a Minx type is only in the first skill, the second skill is totally separate and does not have that same requirement. Now, Atmos says, on play, you may reveal 2 cards of a type including Whitebeard Pirates from your hand. And then if your leader includes Whitebeard Pirates type, put one of your opponent's characters with a cost of 4 or less to their hand. What does it mean, reveal 2 cards of a type including Whitebeard Pirates from your hand? It means you show your opponent 2 cards that have Whitebeard Pirates in the traits. And then they go back to your hand. And nothing else happens. You just show your opponent, go, look, I've got these. Your opponent goes, cool, I acknowledge that you've got them. They then go back to your hand and everyone gets on with their day. Now, Edward Newgate is a very nice new 10 cost. On play, if your leader's type includes Whitebeard Pirates and you have 2 or less life, select all of your opponent's characters on the field until the end of your opponent's next turn. None of them can attack unless your opponent trashes 2 cards from their hand whenever they attack. You know where this is going. If your opponent later plays a character, let's say on their turn 1 that's got Rush, can they attack without trashing cards from their hand? Yeah, absolutely. Because this only affects the characters that were in play when it was played. And actually, this one is even more explicit than the ones I showed you a minute ago, because it specifically says, select all of your opponent's characters, none of the selected characters. So it's even more blatant than the other ones, but same kind of ruling. It's only affecting the cards in play when you play it. If I had 3 or more life cards when this effect was activated, but then during my turn, the number of life drops to 2, does that mean my opponent's characters will be unable to attack unless they trash 2 cards from their hand? Nope. Because the Edward Newgate skill is an on-play skill if you've got 2 or fewer life cards in your hand. If you play this and you've got 2 or more life, sorry, the skill doesn't activate. Gutted. Now, Kingdew, activate main once per turn. You may reveal 2 cards of a type including Whitebeard Pirates from your hands to get an extra 2,000 power. Same question as when we talked about Atmos. What does it actually mean? Same answer. Job's a good un. Oh, as a side note, Phoenix brand has the exact same ruling, so we don't need to go through that one again. We've talked about it. Now, Thatch is another Whitebeard Pirate. If it would be removed from the field by your opponent's effect, or it would be KO'd, trash this character and draw 1 card instead. Okay, does this activate any skills of my other characters that would activate when a character is KO'd? No. Because the character is not KO'd, so any when one of your characters is KO'd skills will not activate because you didn't have anything KO'd. Shakuyaku, on your turn, once per turn, when a character is removed from the field by your effect, if your opponent has 5 or more cards in hand, your opponent places a card from their hand at the bottom of their deck, and then you rest this character. If this character has already become rested due to another effect, can I use this? Yes, you can. And this isn't inconsistent, because it's like we said with the other rulings earlier. Resting this character is not a requirement of using the skill. You use this skill to make your opponent get a card out of their hand, and then you rest the character. If the character is already rested, you use the skill, you go to rest the character, oh, sorry, it's already rested, nothing happens, move on with your life. Now, Charlotte Puddin is a new leader in this set, and it's a leader I like very much indeed, because when attacking, you can turn 2 cards from the top of your life face up to add a Don card from your Don deck rested. Well, what if one or both of the top 2 cards of your life are already face up? Then you can't do the skill. Remember, like I've been saying all video, bold text before a colon has to be done to activate the rest of the skill. In order to activate the skill, you must turn 2 cards on the top of your life face up. If they're already face up, you can't do it. The skill does not activate. Now, King, on play, Don -1. If your opponent's got 5 or more Don, you gain Rush. Well, if this gains Rush, because my opponent's got 5 or more Don, and then your opponent goes down to 4 or less Don, Will I still have Rush? Yeah. Same as we've been saying with the other rulings. When you play this character, if your opponent's got 5 or more Don, you activate Rush, and that's it. The skill is activated. The game doesn't keep checking to see how much Don is on the field. You play it, you activate the skill, you've got Rush, job's a good un. Now, Charlotte Katakuri, on play, you may turn a card from the top of your life cards face down to add a Don card from your Don deck active. Obviously, if the card is already face down, you can't turn it face down. Got it. Now, Black Maria, best card in the set, so good I'm convinced it's going to get banned at some point. It's got a ridiculous skill that activate main once per turn. As long as you don't have any other Black Maria in play, add up to 5 Don from your Don deck rested, and then at the end of your turn, put the Don cards back until you've got the same number of Don on the field as your opponent. Cool. Well, if I return Don cards to my Don deck, will it activate skills like, for instance, the Charlotte Pudding in this set that has a skill that activates when you return Don cards from your field to your Don deck? Yes. And this is a huge ruling that makes a huge difference, because the Charlotte Pudding in this set says that on your turn once per turn, when a Don card on your field is returned to your Don deck, add a Don card from your Don deck rested. So you add Don with Black Maria, put them back at the end of your turn, but then Charlotte Pudding activates to put one straight back. And we got the same thing with the Kid from OP-05, with the only difference being that that Don actually comes out active rather than rested. But it is a 5 cost, not a 3 cost, which is why Pudding sees a whole bunch of play. Huge ruling. This one you absolutely need to know. It is a complete and utter game changer. Make sure you know that ruling. Although I should add, there is one more ruling you need to know about Black Maria, and that is, on the turn you activate Black Maria's skill, if the character is removed from the field, do you still have to return the Don cards to the Don deck? Oh yeah, absolutely. Firstly, the skill has been activated, it's going to resolve, and secondly, everyone will be playing decks to bump their own Black Maria and keep the Don. That would be absurd. Now, Kaido gets a rather nice new card in this set. Activate main once per turn, trash a card from your hand, and then if this character was played on this turn, trash one of your opponent's characters with a cost of 7 or less, and then your opponent trashes a card from their hand. Well, can I use this and trash a card from my hand on any turn after the character was played? Yes, you can. You got the character on the board, you activate the skill, you trash a card from your hand, and then it says if the character was played this turn, well, it wasn't, nothing else happens. But you can use this to just trash a card from your hand, and remember, a lot of black cards do play from the discard, or want a particular number of cards in the discard, or want you to return cards from the discard, so this actually could be very, very relevant. Sasaki's got an activate main, rest one of your Don cards and this character, to give one of your opponent's characters -2 cost during this turn. Hang on a second. Didn't we used to have cards that just had the number 1 in a little circle to say, rest 1 Don? Yes. Yes, we did. Is this the same as that? Yes. Yes, it is. Think the Kozuke Momonosuke from OP-01. Yeah, they've just changed the way they do this. Don't worry about it. We're good. Now, Jack has a static skill that gives +4 cost. Does that mean it's an 11 cost when it's in the hand? No! Firstly, that would make it impossible to play. Secondly, it's a skill on the character, and the skill on the character only comes in when it's actually in play. Otherwise, it's not a thing. Don't worry about it. Now, Kalgara is the new yellow leader in this set. Don X1, when attacking, play a Shandian warrior character from your hand with a cost equal to or less than the number of Don cards on your field. If you do, add a card from the top of your life to your hand. Well, if I've got 0 or less life remaining, can I use this to play a Shandian warrior from my hand? Come on, you know this one by now, ladies and gentlemen. Yes, you can. There's no text in bold, So it's all one skill, so you do as much as you can, you play the Shandian Warrior, then you go to add a card from the top of your life to your hand. Oh, I'm not able to, never mind, I've played the card, I get on with my life. Now, Jewelry Bonney is an exciting new character from the set. Don X1 on your turn, once per turn. When a card is removed from your opponent's life, draw 2, trash 1. When one of my opponent's life is moved to my opponent's hand or trashed, based on the effect of one of my opponent's cards, can I use this? Yes, as long as it's on your turn. Can I use this when looking at my opponent's life, when my opponent reveals their life cards, or when my opponent changes the order of their life cards? No, because life isn't removed. The life is still in the life. So no, you don't get to use this. During my turn, my opponent used an effect to add a life card to their hand, and then added a card to the top of their life. Does this activate? Yes, it does, because they've still taken a life from their life area to their hand. There we go. A life has been removed. This activates. If I deal damage to my opponent and one of their life cards has a trigger, does this activate before the trigger? In this case, your opponent chooses whether to activate the trigger or not. If they choose to activate the trigger, that happens first. Then you get to use this skill. Otherwise, well, it doesn't matter because the trigger isn't being used. There we go. However, if the trigger removes this character from the field, then it won't activate, trigger will activate, and then the character won't be there to activate its skill. Quite important. Make sure you remember that one. S-Hawk, or as I like to call it, the character I kept getting from Gashapon machines in Japan, cheers for that. We've got Don X1. If you've got fewer life cards than your opponent, this character cannot be KO'd in battle by slash attribute cards, and gains 2,000 power. Okay. Do you still gain the 2,000 power if you're battling a character other than slash attribute? Yeah, of course you do. They're different things. You can't be KO'd by slash attribute cards, and you gain 2,000 power, but they're two separate things. They're two different benefits. So you get the plus 2k regardless. And then finally, Silver's Rayleigh, the secret rare from the set. On play, you select two of your opponent's characters. One gets minus 3k, one gets minus 2k until the end of your opponent's next turn, and then you KO a character with 3k or less. Okay. Can all three of those be different characters? Yes. Yes, they can. There we go. Job's a good un. That's what you need to know, and now it's over to you guys. Tell me which of these rulings are helping you. Tell me which of these rulings are hindering you. Tell me which decks you're looking to build from OP-08. Go nuts in the comment section, but be nice! And then make sure you like this video, subscribe to this channel, follow me on Twitter at TheWasi. That's where we talk about One Piece and a bunch of other card games. And please do consider checking out patreon.com/PTCG Radio, where you can support the channel, get some bonus podcasts and all kinds of fun things. But by far the most important thing as always, look after yourselves till next time, would ya? Thank you very much for watching. My name's Ross, and you've been watching Wasi Plays.